Hello everyone and welcome to my experimental video about trying to teach Chinese without Chinese characters and without tones. This is only one test video, probably there will be several videos coming later, but I just want to test this concept and see how it works, see if there is good feedback, and if there is, then I will gladly make more videos because I think this is really not a bad idea. So how did this come about? I think and I'm convinced after all my years of studies and everything I know about Chinese that the most difficult thing about Chinese for beginners, and maybe in general, is the amount of things that you have to deal with as a beginner. There's just too much burden on the student. We have, of course, the language itself, which is very difficult structurally, but then we have the pronunciation, especially the tones. Then we have Chinese characters. Then we have cultural aspects of the language which make it quite difficult to learn, a huge amount of vocabulary that you have to learn, and so on. And all of this together just makes it incredibly difficult for the student to stand up, so to speak, and start learning the language by using. And I think that two things that might be removed from this process to make it easier are Chinese characters and also the tones. And the reason why I think this is that recently I had to teach my friend, a Slovak friend, to say a fairly long text in Chinese, about 1 A4 worth of text. 1 A4 is, I'm not really sure how many sentences were there, but it was really a lot of text, and he didn't have a lot of time. So we dropped the characters, we dropped the tones. I translated what he wanted to say, and basically we transcribed it into very rough Slovak transcription of Chinese, and he memorized it without tones. And then later we worked on tones a little bit to smoothen out the most protruding mistakes that made it impossible for him to be understood. And we had just amazing results with that. Now, of course, memorizing a text and sounding like a Chinese person and speaking Chinese and sounding like a Chinese person are two completely different things. But if I was able to, or we were able to achieve results like this with a person who has never studied Chinese before, and after a couple of weeks was able to fluently say an A4 worth of text in Chinese, sounding pretty well, I must say. I mean, I could understand everything that person was saying. I think these results are wonderful, and I wanted to try to mimic something like that through an experimental course. Now, I know that there are Japanese courses without Chinese characters or hiragana and katakana. I'm not too sure if there are Chinese courses without Chinese characters. Possibly there are. I know that there are websites without Chinese characters, but I'm not sure if there is anything without tones as well. Again, this is experimental. I know there's going to be a lot of people bashing me for this, saying, no, you need tones, you need this and that. I know you need tones, I know you need Chinese characters, but maybe we can just, for now, try to test teaching Chinese without tones and without Chinese characters and adding them as we go later. Now, me and my friend were trying to come up with dialogues or sentences for this basic course, and maybe some of you are familiar with my basic language structures project, which I will link in the description. And I am sourcing most of my vocabulary and expressions from that project, as well as we try to come up with a dialogue or basically material that is absolutely realistic and very useful, something that will happen to any person in his Chinese learning life, as well as fit the dialogues contextually and culturally into the Chinese speaking world. So without further ado, this was like a 6-7 minute introduction into the course, but I think it was necessary because it's pretty experimental, and without giving it at least some introduction, you would not know what I'm talking about. Let's analyze this first lesson. Now, the setting is, and again, as I said, I was trying to make it as functional and as useful, but as culturally appropriate and sort of from a language learner's point of view, most effective as possible. This is happening basically at a Chinese university, your first day as an exchange student, when you come to your first lecture and you meet your first Chinese speaking counterpart. This is maybe at an orientation day at your university, and this is what the student tells you. So we can just jump right in. There are no characters, no tones. What you see here is the Chinese language transcribed into a system, into a romanization system, which is called pinyin. I'm pretty sure most of you are aware of that. For those of you who aren't aware of it, it is a system which basically transcribes the sounds of Chinese into the Roman alphabet. Be very aware, because most of the sounds that you see here are only very, very approximations to what the Chinese sounds actually sound. So for instance, a J is not a J as you pronounce it in English. What else do we have here? A Q, is there a Q? No, we don't have a Q here. An X is not an X, is not read as an X in the system, as you will see very soon. So without further ado, for the second time, let me just first read it and then explain what you see. This is again a Chinese student coming up to you and talking to you. Hi, 你好，我是法律系的，我叫王英红，叫我安红就可以了。Hi, 你好，我是法律系的，我叫王英红，叫我安红就可以了。All right, so this might have been a bit fast, but again, as you see, no Chinese characters, so you should have been able to follow what I was reading pretty well. And let's just analyze. So the first sentence, Hi, 你好. I'm sure that if you're even just a very, very complete beginner in Chinese, you know that 你好 just means hello. Again, don't worry about the tones. Just be aware that Chinese does have tones and that the melodies are very important, and maybe melody is even the better name for tones in Chinese. So Chinese does have melodies, does have tones. Don't worry about them too much. Try to absorb the language as it comes. So, Hi, 你好. Hi is just the Chinese way of saying hi. So hi, hello, and basically this means hi, hello. 你好 is hello. 我是法律系的，我是法律系的. So let's go word by word. 我 means I, me, basically. 是 means to be, so 我是 I am. 法律系的, 法律 means law. And 系 is a department in a university. So if you translate this directly, 法律系, it would be law department or legal department. We don't say it like that. We say law school. So 我是法律系, I am law school. And this the thing, this might be, I don't know if it's complicated or not. It takes a little time to get used to. It's very proximate translation into English would be the apostrophe S thing. So if you say Peter and then you say Peter it just means Peter's, yeah, Peter's table, Peter's house, Peter's car, and so on. That's a very, very approximate translation, but it has many other functions, and you will see it very often. In this case, the rough translation would be that whatever is before is sort of a quality or a kind or a type of the subject. So 我, that's the subject. 我是法律系的. So I am of a law school type. Basically translating, I'm from law school. Yeah, I'm a law school student. 我是 I am 法律系 law school, and like this kid from law school. I'm the type of a guy who comes from law school. I'm the law school type. It's maybe a little bit unintuitive because we don't really say it like that, and you really just have to say in English, yeah, I'm a law school student, and you can't translate it directly like this into Chinese. But this is one of the things that make Chinese very hard. It's such a distant language that almost every single sentence has to be said in a different way. So let's continue. 我叫王英红，我叫王英红. So again, we have 我, which means I. And by the way, I'm not writing what this means, first of all, because it's very difficult to do on this tablet. And second of all, you have the translation in the description for this video. And there's not that many words anyway. And plus, when I don't write the translations, you have to concentrate a little bit more. You don't have the tones here. You don't have the characters. So it should be pretty easy to follow. So 我, I, 叫, to be called. This is a verb, I would translate, to be called. And Wang Yinghong is just a name. So I am called Wang Yinghong. Wang is a surname. In Chinese, surnames come first, and it's a very typical surname in China. I'm pretty sure many overseas Chinese have this name as well, probably spelled with an O over here and with an A also. Wang Yinghong. And Yinghong is the name. 叫我阿红就可以了，叫我阿红就可以了。We have these two words here, just the order is goes the other way around. 叫我 instead of 我叫. And it means again, call I, and then we go 阿红就可以了. So call me 阿红, and the rest I will explain to you in a second. I just want to just pause here for a second with this 叫我 and 我叫. If you are a native speaker of English or you speak English well, you can make benefit of one very, very cool aspect of Chinese. English and Chinese both are isolating languages. This means that they don't really change their words too much, right? So 我叫 叫我, it's always 我 always 叫. It doesn't change whether it is I'm called, I was called, I will be called. It's always just 叫. And the same thing happens, not completely the same thing, but in English, nouns also don't really change their forms. Bed is a bed, whether it is I'm putting something on the bed, I'm laying on the bed, I see the bed, I'm talking about the bed. It's always just a bed. It doesn't change. What is, however, important is the word order. So if you say 我叫 or you say 叫我, same two words, but it's just like in English. So I called Wang Yinghong, call I or call me Ah Hong. Depending on the word order, you change the relation between the words. And this is actually very cool because if you speak English, you can really make use of this quite often in Chinese. And I will show you in later videos. It will happen again. So 叫我 call me Ah Hong, call me Ah Hong, which is a sort of like a familiar name. Sort of if you have Wang Yinghong would be Stephen Smith and Ah Hong would be Steve. So he says, my name is Stephen Smith, but call me Steve in Chinese. 我叫 Wang Yinghong. And by the way, Wang Yinghong doesn't mean Stephen Smith. It was just an example. So 叫我阿红就可以了. Call me 阿红. And 就可以了 is a set expression which just means something like, and it's okay, and it's all right. Yeah. So if I would translate this literally, it would mean call me Ah Hong, and it's okay. But in English, we would say, but you can call me Ah Hong, something like that. This, just like I was saying before, very, very often, I would say 70-80% of the time, you just cannot directly translate into Chinese. As with many languages, if you want to make the language sound a little bit more fluid, then direct translations often just don't work. So 叫我阿红就可以了. Call me 阿红, and it's all right. Just call me 阿红. So to repeat everything, Hi, 你好，我是法律系的，我叫王英红，叫我阿红就可以了。Hi, 你好, hi, hello. 我是法律系的. I'm from the law school. I'm of the law school type. 我叫王英红. I'm called Wang Yinghong. 叫我 call me 阿红就可以了. Well, you can call me 阿红. All right, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it wasn't too all over the place. Again, it's very experimental. Tell me how you like it. And if I would love to make more of these videos, but it depends on whether there will be people who will enjoy watching. And the only way I know this is that you hit the like button or leave comments under the video. And please give me any suggestions. Please tell me if this should be, definitely will be shorter next time. This was just the first introductory video. And any other suggestions as well, let me know. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.